Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Please let me know what your plans are for these sprints. I may be joined later by some friends, but my plans are to get through the different things that I need to get done today. So if I'm reading, I'll be reading Iron Flame, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And then my other options are I need to do some writing for NaNoWriMo because I am majorly behind. And I might do some chores as well. So we'll see what the spinny wheel has in store. But yeah, if you are here and you're planning on doing something in these sprints, please do let me know in the comments. I am just going to do my obligatory Instagram post to say that we are live, and then I will be right back with you. But yeah, welcome in. Let me know what you'll be doing, what your plans are for the day. And Maggie is also here to say hello. The balloons have happened again, at least this time. Oh, it's ruined the Instagram story. There's a balloon right in front of my face when the picture was taken. Let's try again. Okay. So I think there's been some more people joined since I started. So just to recap, I have three options that I have for these sprints. I'm either going to be reading Iron Flame, the sequel to Fourth Wing, doing some chores, or catching up on some NaNoWriMo writing, which, as if you've been in my previous sprints, you'll know that's the least favorite option because I'm not enjoying doing my first draft. But I know once I get through the beginning of my first draft, I will enjoy it a lot more. So, hello, reading Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. I'm going to look that one up because I have not heard of that one. Never Saw Me Coming. Oh, the cover looks very familiar. It's a mystery thriller and suspense story. Oh, sounds very interesting. How far into it are you? Let me know what your thoughts are if you've already started it. Reading Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I am very excited for you. How are you finding it so far, Laura? I have that on the TBR for this month, but I want to finish Iron Flame because I'm starting to have to avoid spoilers quite aggressively. They're kind of everywhere on Instagram and TikTok, so trying my best not to hit spoilers. So I need to try and finish Iron Flame soon, which I say like I'm only on like chapter 4. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to be reading that this month. Hello, welcome in. Having lunch first, then we'll be reading Gallows Hill or listening to the audiobook of Cersei, or maybe reading a different book, who knows. If you need any help, let us know in the chat and we can help you decide on a book to read. I haven't heard of Gallows Hill, so once again, I'm gonna look this up because of course I need more on the TBR. Apparently it's a place that exists, so I have to search the book at the end. Oh, okay. This looks like another mystery thriller horror kind of thing. Horror thriller, according to Goodreads. That sounds really cool. Everyone's reading quite dark books today, other than Pumpkin Spice Cafe. But yeah, it seems to be the season for these kind of books. So yeah, if you've already started it again, let me know what you think. Only the first few pages, so no thoughts yet. That's very, very fair. Quite good. I'm not usually a romance reader. What do you normally read if you're not reading romance? I am quite a big romance reader, so I'm very excited for Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I actually started watching Gilmore Girls because people told me that Pumpkin Spice Cafe is like the Gilmore Girls of books. And isn't the author's like name also Gilmore? So pretty cool. And I've never seen Gilmore Girls, so I'm currently watching that, but I'm still only on season 1, even though I started watching a few weeks ago because I'm quite slow. I don't watch a lot of TV these days. But yeah, I've heard it's quite Gilmore Girls-esque. So I am looking forward to it. I don't tend to read a lot of themed romances, like seasonal romances. So I'm quite looking forward to trying one. I tried reading a Christmas romance last year and I didn't vibe with it. So gonna try again. I've got the Tessa Bailey Wreck the Halls next to me, which I'll be planning to read for December, and I've got a list of all my Christmas themed books I'm hoping to read. But yeah, hello, I've seen a few more people have been joining. Let me know in the chat what your plan is for these sprints and what you'll be doing. I don't really know what I'm wanting to win right now. I think I actually weirdly am in the mood for some chores because I need to write my Christmas cards. So I think what I'm going to do. Hi, Puff, welcome in. Nice to see you again. What are your plans for the sprints, Puff? Let me know. I think I might start us off on a sprint quite quickly, and we'll see how long it's going to be. Oh, normally read horror or fantasy and sometimes sci-fi. Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm reading a bit more horror these days. I went off it for a while when I really got into romance, but now I find that I need a good balance between horror, fantasy, sci-fi, and romance. I can't just kind of straight read romance. But I do love me some sci-fi. I don't read a ton of it because I'm quite picky, but I do love a space opera. It's my favorite kind of sci-fi. So let's get the spinny wheel up on the screen so we can decide early what our sprint length is going to be. Okay, so we have the options of a short 20-minute sprint, a medium 30-minute sprint, and a long 40-minute sprint. Oh, starting out with a long one, I think. Yeah. Okay, we'll start with a long sprint. I'll leave it a couple more minutes before I decide what I will be doing. In the middle of a video, so I want to finish watching that, and then I was thinking of rereading Heartstopper Volume 3 for the first mixtape prompt. Nice. What were you watching, if you don't mind sharing? And I fully support rereading Heartstopper Volume 3. I love Heartstopper. Is this your first like read through of Heartstopper and you need to read that before Volume 4, or have you already read all the volumes that are out right now? Let me know. I don't know what my favorite volume of Heartstopper is though. I think if I had to choose, it'd probably be the first one, because I think I tend to like first books because I like the setup, I like the cozy vibes of beginnings of series, and I like the kind of hopeful positiveness that you usually get at the beginning of a series. But I haven't read them in a long time. I think the next one comes out in December, so I might reread them all in December. I have the week before Christmas out off work, so I might spend a day reading Heartstopper. I also like manga now too. My first time reading them, and I'm really starting to like them. Nice. Which ones have you been reading? I did start getting into manga when I was a teenager, but I just found it was getting too expensive as a teenager to buy them, because I'd read like a volume in a couple of hours at most, and then I would kind of be stuck because it's so expensive. And I want to get back into it, but I'm hoping that I should be moving to a new town in about 6 months, and I'm hoping whichever town I move to, the library has a better collection of manga, because my current library doesn't have a great manga collection or ebook collection. So hopefully that's how I can get into manga, because it is very expensive to collect. But I was reading Attack on Titan when I was reading manga. Hello, welcome in. Reading No Name by Wilkie Collins, a Victorian sensation novel. That sounds amazing. Thank you very much for saying what it is. It's a TBR video from Throne of Pages. Nice. And I'm rereading for the new one. That is a good shout. I definitely need to reread. I think, especially because the Heartstopper TV series is out now, I kind of forget where the books have ended, because I think season 2 had a little bit of an overlap with volume 3, if I remember correctly. So I definitely need to reread the books to remember where we are. Judy Ito, nice. I have heard good things. Oh, the poll is up for Amy's book club. That is very exciting. So I do need to go and vote in that. My in-person book club doesn't meet in December, so we tend to pick 3 books. So normally we pick 2 books for my in-person book club. And we'll have one where, like, Waterstones, because it's run by Waterstones, they will suggest a few different books and we vote for one from them, and then members can suggest a few different books and we pick one from that, and you have the choice to read one of those, or we'll read both. Whereas over November and not November, December and January, we will have 3 books, and it kind of depends what the 3 most popular are. So sometimes it will be a second of the Waterstones picks, and sometimes it will be a second of the member picks. And I'm not sure if it's worth trying to suggest Christmassy ones, because I'm not sure if people will want Christmassy books when it runs into January. But we're also kind of encouraged to pick longer books for suggesting in December because people have more time to read them. Whereas longer books don't normally do well in our book club votes because a lot of people read quite slowly in that book club. So I am tempted to suggest Addie LaRue because I haven't read it yet. I tried reading it and I soft DNF'd it because I wasn't in the mood for it. And I think it would kind of force me to read it, and I get the feeling I could pitch it. Also, I'm trying to go for the hat trick at my book club because my book suggestion has been picked twice, like 2 months in a row. I won the October and the November picks, so I'd really like to win December, January as well, just to get a little streak going. Right, let me do a spin to see what I will be doing in the first sprint, and then we can get going. For anyone that's joined late, we will be doing 40-minute sprints, or at least for the first sprint. That's what we spun. So here we go. What will I be doing? Oh. Always the way. As soon as I say I don't want it to be writing, and as soon as it's a long sprint, I get the writing spin. But I definitely need that push to get some writing done. Murder, drama, adultery, scandal, illegitimate children, revenge, deception, and emotional highs and lows. What's not to like about Victorian sensations? I love how you've sold that. That is so true. I do enjoy those kind of things. I can't read them too frequently though because it's difficult for me. I get kind of stressed out when there's too much high stakes, which is why I really like cozy fantasy and romance. And thank you for wishing me luck. It's kind of sad actually because one of the people I'm friends with in book club, it will be her final month before she moves away, and so she's trying to get the win in before she goes. But I also want the hat trick. So we'll see which one of us gets our little moment of pride. Although she said she might not suggest anything because she probably won't be at the next meeting. So we'll see. So let me get a timer ready and we'll get going for our first 40-minute sprint. And again, if you haven't let us know what you're going to be doing, please do share. Trying to get the right timer up. Oh, it's already set up for the right sprint. What convenience. Right, let me get this up on the screen for you and then we can get going. Okay, I'll see you all back here in 40 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. How did you all get on in that sprint? Let me know. So, if you didn't know, I was writing for my NaNoWriMo project in that sprint. I think I got about, doing maths in my head quickly, about 600 words written, which is pretty good going considering I took a couple of breaks because it's always good to take some brain breaks when you're writing. Um, I enjoyed that one a lot more than the previous writing sessions I've done on sprints. I will say I feel like I'm really finding the voice of my male main character in that section. I've been struggling with it because I had always thought of this book that I'm writing as about the female main character, but I realised it would work so much better with the dual POV. So I've now got to kind of make them equal main characters. And that's hard because I hadn't been planning on that. And the male main character is very different to what I normally write. So I'm enjoying it though. I'm finding his voice and getting his backstory kind of working in. So yeah, let me know what you got up to in that sprint and how you got on. I ended up listening to the audiobook of Cersei while I cross-stitched. Amazing. Are you able to share with us what you are cross-stitching? I have some kind of tiny little cross-stitch project going somewhere. One of those like £1 kits from Hobbycraft. And I'm glad I only spent £1 on it because I keep putting it down and not picking it back up again. It's a very impressive skill and I'm very jealous. I am not very good at it. I am a knitter, really. I really enjoy knitting. I've tried crochet, I've tried cross stitch, I've tried a few other things. Knitting is what I always go back to, so I'm very jealous of your cross stitching skills. How long do I plan on my novel being? How much have I written at the moment? So let me check my total for you. I'm only at 3,100 words, which considering it's over halfway through NaNoWriMo and I should be close to 30,000 words, not great going. I don't really have a plan for how long it's going to be because I'm doing my first draft. I'm kind of writing and figuring it out as I go how long I want things to be. And then kind of my first draft plan is for it to be as long as it is. And then I will kind of go through that and figure out, do I want to pad certain sections out? Do I feel like it needs to be cut down? It's a cozy fantasy, so it could be anywhere from like 80,000 to, I don't know, 100, 120,000 words. Fantasy is quite a broad range because it's kind of like the first book that I'm hoping to query with. I'm aiming for it to be a little bit shorter than maybe a typical fantasy, so probably closer to the lower end of the thousands of words because debut books tend to be shorter. So I'd like for it to not be super chunky, but if the first draft is super chunky, I won't be mad about it. But yeah, I don't have a solid plan for length. I never plan out length. The way I write is each chapter I sit down and decide what the goal of this chapter is, whether it is moving forward at a plot point, whether it's characters forming a certain relationship, or giving a piece of information to the reader. That's what I focus on for that chapter, and I just kind of write whatever needs to be written to meet that goal. And if that means it's a long chapter, it's a long chapter. If it's a short chapter, it's a short chapter. And yeah, that is just kind of how I roll. I have a rough outline, but I am sort of aware that my outline has a lot of things happening in it. And so as I write, I might take out some of the plot points. I've already had to take out one of my favourite plot points that I was really, really looking forward to. And I'm sad about it, but it just didn't make any sense for my characters to do that thing. So yeah, I'm very much winging it for my first draft and figuring it out, fixing it later is the approach I'm taking. 16 pages down, ended with "on my life and honor, I will make him pay for it." I love the drama. That sounds amazing. And I like to imagine this is the male main character is angry at another male character for dishonoring the female main character in the book, unless it could be the female main character getting mad at someone else. But yeah, I love it. I love the drama. Do you think it's going to be a standalone? Originally, when I came up with this idea, I thought I was going to have this like one adventure completed in a book. So the story is about I'm not sure what race she is, to be honest. I haven't decided if she's going to be like an elf or fae, or I'm going to create up my own fantasy race. I'm kind of deciding as I go what works, but essentially this kind of magical young woman goes on this adventure around her continent with a bodyguard because her parents know that she's incredibly sheltered. She lives in this kind of like walled in utopian city, and she wants to explore the world outside of her, and she thinks everywhere is utopian like her city, and it's not. And so she and this bodyguard go on this adventure around the continent, and it's about kind of her learning that things aren't as perfect as she thinks they are, but also about him learning from her to be a bit more positive about certain things. And so I had all these different ideas of places they could go and things they could experience, and I had to take some of them out because it was just too much happening in one book. And so I guess if I finish this book and I decide to write more, I do have enough ideas for there to be sequels or companion novels. And I kind of feel like I would like to do what Becky Chambers did with the Wayfarers series, where each book is about a different kind of side character from a previous book in the Wayfarers series, and kind of pick up different threads in the world rather than follow the same two characters for the whole thing. But I don't know if I will get that far. If I could, I would really like to do that. It's a kit from a local craft shop slash workshop in Cardiff. Nice. It has "Do no harm, take no shit" on it. This is my re-entry to cross stitch since finishing my huge project last month. Amazing. That is really, really cool. I love these little kits. I wish more places did this kind of stuff. Good morning, Ocean. I hope you're doing well. Let us know what you're up to today. A subplot character, a female speaking about a male. Nice. I love that very much. Thank you. It is nice when people are interested in what I'm writing. I just hope I can capture what's in my head and get it onto page. Definitely not in the first draft, because I can tell you right now, this first draft is just horrendous. It's awful. But I'm hoping it improves on edits. And I think at the moment, the reason I'm avoiding writing so much is because I hate beginnings. I love writing middles. I don't like writing beginnings. I don't like writing endings, but I love writing middles, which I think is unusual for writers a lot of the time. Most writers like writing endings, but I I hate beginnings, and yeah, it's a struggle, but hopefully I can get through this beginning bit and get to the part that I'm excited about writing, and it'll get better. It's 8 a.m. where you are, so you're not up super early. Pound just chilling and reading. I mean, it is kind of early for a Sunday. At least it is for me. I don't get up until like 7:30 on a weekday, so 8 a.m. on a Sunday would be early for me. But nice chilling and reading. Let us know what you're planning on reading. Really want to start writing. I just never really know how to start. My writing is really bad. I think everyone thinks their writing is really bad when they first start. And my advice is just to start and just to accept that it's really bad. When I was on sprints last time and I was writing, one of my updates was, "I have just written the worst prologue you have ever seen in your life." And I hate it. I know it's an awful prologue, but you can never improve writing without trying. So I think the best thing you can do is just to give it a go and push through and accept that the first thing you write is going to be bad. Like this first draft that I'm writing right now is awful, and it's really hard because I have an accountability buddy for Nano, which is obviously going great because she's written the accountability has really helped. That's why I've only written 3,000 words. But they're writing much further in to their draft. Like they started midway through the book rather than starting a book from scratch at the beginning of Nano, and so theirs is a lot higher quality than mine. And when we share snippets, it is like it's hard because at first I start to compare myself a bit too much to it, and to their later stage writing, but I have to just remind myself that I I'm at the beginning of my writing and I'm at the beginning of a first draft and it's going to be terrible. I literally write lines and think to myself, this is awful, I hate it. And I know when I'm writing sometimes that I am thinking of a word. There's a word I want to use and I can't think of it. But I know if I sit with that for too long, and try and figure it out for too long, I lose the momentum. So I will leave like a filler word in its place and sometimes leave a note to myself saying you were looking for a word that was like this. And hope that when I come back to edit, I will know what word I was trying to use. And so it just reads horribly. And there are some people out there as well who, when they're writing, they will leave entire scenes unwritten and will leave a note to themselves saying, like, come back later and write this, or witty line goes here, stuff like that. So don't worry about your first thing being really good. Long story short. I am not participating in mixtape. I have too many books on the go at the moment. I was hoping to, but November is crazy busy. We're already on the 19th, and I have not I've not read most of the books that I was trying to read this month, especially because in December I really want to focus on Christmas and festive reads. So unfortunately, no mixtape for me this time, but I will hopefully be able to do next one. Considering all week I've been up 6 to 8 a.m. Wow, this is sleeping in for me. Yeah, my parents feel the same. My parents tend to get up at like 6:30 because our dogs need walking at that time in the morning. And so on weekends their lie-in is like 8, 9 o'clock. And yeah, I get that. I do get that. It is weird because when I was living on my own, I did used to like think about 9 being kind of a lie-in for me. And I used to get up between 8 and 9 on a weekend. These days it's more 9 and 10. But you never know, when I move out again, maybe that's what happened. Just by the channel, already love your vibes. You seem so sweet. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind. Hopefully you like what you watch and you stick around for a bit longer. Yeah, if anyone else is new in the chat, don't forget to let us know what you'll be up to in these sprints. I have 3 options. I will either be reading Iron Flame, the sequel to Fourth Wing, doing some chores, or I will be writing my nano project, which I'm incredibly behind on, which is what we've been chatting about quite a bit in this chat section. I have an internal alarm clock, so I can't. I'm assuming you mean you can't sleep in later than 9 a.m. I have a similar thing. I can't sleep more than 9 hours. Like my boyfriend can sleep for 12 hours straight without being ill, without being overtired. He can just sleep for like 12 hours straight if he so wishes. I can't. If we go to sleep, say at midnight, I can't really sleep in later than 9 these days. Whereas if he goes to sleep at 12, he could easily sleep until midday the next day. So I'm jealous of that a little bit. Reading The Ghost Woods by CJ Cook. I have heard good things about The Ghost Woods. If you are already reading it, let us know what you're thinking so far. I love the random spin and the random activities. Love a good spin and wheel. Yeah. That's good that you like it because that is my major plan for all sprints. I like to mix up the lengths with the sprints, which is why I use that one. And the reason I use the spinny wheel is because I use the spinny wheel to decide what I'm doing in my day-to-day life all the time. I am neurodivergent, and so I find it really hard to decide what to do when I've got lots of things that I need to do. So I will use a spinny wheel to decide what to do next, especially if I have like a list of chores. I'll put them like all on the spinny wheel and use that to decide which chore to do next. So this is just regular life for me. Currently reading To Infinity and Beyond by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Nice, because I have to read a non-fiction book for school, but also need to catch up on writing, so maybe switch to that. Nice, but let us know what you're writing as well. We'd love to hear about that. It's weird, it's creepy, it's mysterious. I'm loving it. I'm 141 pages in. Amazing. That's exactly what we want to hear from a spooky book. I was really disappointed in October that I read quite a few spooky books and they weren't as spooky as I was hoping. I was trying to do a whole vampire vlog and I had to scrap it basically because it was so disappointing. So when you get a good creepy spooky book, always the best because so many of them are just catfishes. I'm so trying the wheel for regular life. I'm the same way. Yes. I can't really take credit for this. I saw this on like Instagram. Someone was saying that it was like a tip for ADHD people. I can't remember what she called it. I think she called it like the wheel of doom. And she puts all of her to-do lists on a wheel and she has to do the thing on the to-do list. I think she does it for like she has to do it for 5 minutes because usually once you start doing something for 5 minutes, you then commit to finishing it afterwards because your brain is like completionist. But I just do it where I know I need to do a chore next and I'll put them on the spinny wheel and I just complete the chore rather than doing 5 minutes because as much as we suspect I also have undiagnosed ADHD, the diagnosed autism much more rules the brain, and that side of my brain definitely wants things to be complete before moving on. So yeah, I do use a spinny wheel for absolutely everything. Speaking of spinny wheels, shall we see what our next sprint will be? Okay. Oh my goodness. So we used a spinny wheel for randomness and we get the same one twice. That's okay. We'll do another long sprint. I mean, convenient because that means I don't have to redo the timer. And now let's see what I will be doing on this long sprint. I'm not going to say what I want the answer to be because we all know that the wheel hates me and always picks the one that I don't want. Okay. Spinny Wheel is a bully and just always wants me to be writing, and I guess I will continue to write. So let me get something up and ready so we can get sprinting. I will just be waking up and possibly reading. Nice. That is a mood, Ocean. Good luck with waking up. I'm with you there. It takes me like a good, I'd say 2 hours to wake up in the mornings. So when anyone puts in, I work from home and I tend to wake up about an hour before work starts. So if anyone tries to put meetings in with me in the first hour of the day, like they're not going to get optimal me. My boss once put a one-to-one in first thing on a weekday and didn't go well. We had the one-to-one. He's really chill, he's really nice, but he was like, wow, I see what you mean when you say like you're not as awake in the mornings. And it's like, yeah, I don't really wake up until about 9:30. That's why I tend to study in the mornings because that's like slower in the brain. Yes, RIPV. The spinny wheel hates me and the spinny wheel wants me to write. So I guess that's what I will be doing. Let's put that in here. Ta-da. And we'll get the timer up and ready. Okay, we'll see everyone again in 40 minutes. Sorry, I was a teeny bit late back there. Someone called my name just as the timer went off. I'm gonna remove this in the hopes that next sprint the wheel is nicer. But let me know how you all got on. Let me catch up in the chat what I missed while we were sprinting. But yeah, let me know how you got on in that sprint. Med reminder for anyone that needs to take meds. Very, very good. Thank you, Ocean. Hello, Livy. I hope lesson planning goes well. Are you allowed to tell us much about like what you're teaching at the moment? I'd love to hear about it. Hello, Leanne. I do not believe that you look like pancakes that have been dropped from a very high height, but I'm glad you're here in the chat anyways. And you know you can't say my audiobook without telling us which audiobook it is. Is it the next Red Rising book? Have you finished that one yet? Let us know. Awake enough to read. Nice. Good. I'm glad you feel awake enough for that. Hello, Kate. Welcome in. So far, the spinny wheel is being a bully. We have had 2 identical sprints for me so far, 2 40-minute sprints where both times it chose for me to write, and I'm not impressed. So we're hoping it improves. Got from page 141 to page 165. The font is very big and the chapters are very short. Doesn't matter, you read, and that's important. I hope it's still good and you're still enjoying it. More audiobook of Circe and cross-stitching. How are you finding Circe so far? Are you enjoying it? I think I DNF'd Song of Achilles. That wasn't for me, but I think I still have an audiobook for Circe. I'm not sure. If I do, I might give it a go, but I also may have unhauled it after hating Song of Achilles so much. But I hope that you are enjoying it anyways. Teaching all sorts of things. Fair. Teaching, we're currently reading is it Oedipus Rex for Year 12 Classical Civilization class. Nice. That sounds really interesting. Read 30 pages of Sword of Kaigen. Well done. That is very impressive. 17 more pages and head is spinning from all the intrigue. I really love how much you're kind of selling these books to me. I'm really enjoying that. Yes, it is very rude of the wheel. But to be fair, I think the wheel knows that I am so behind on Nano and that I need to catch up. And so it's trying to actually be in my corner, but who knows? What am I in the mood to do instead? That is the question, Kate. That is the question. I'm having kind of a bit of a freeze at the moment. I don't really know what I'm in the mood for, but I'm trying to figure it out, which is why I just use the spinning wheel for everything. Although I think I kind of am in the mood to sit down with an audiobook and write my Christmas cards. So fingers crossed we get chores in the next sprint, but knowing me now that I've said that and put that into the universe, the spinning wheel will not provide. It's very good. I read one other book by CJ Cook. Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yes, Maggie is now the star of the sprint. I'm reluctant to call myself a Swiftie because I feel like that term is very gatekept by the very intense Taylor Swift fans, but I do enjoy Taylor Swift. I am going to the Eras Tour when it comes to London in a bit. In August next year, I think is when we're going. Please don't eat my lunch, Maggie. So yeah, I do like them. I haven't finished Leanne's Taylor Swift recommendations yet, but I will watch it, the rest of it, hopefully later today. I started it at work and then got distracted. And I've been talking to Leanne about this. And I think I might try and do my own version of it because I feel like I might have some very different interpretations of the albums to other people. So we'll see. But yeah, I think also the struggle is Leanne and I have a good overlap sometimes, and then other times no. So I'm not sure all the recommendations will be for me, but I'm really looking forward to watching the rest. Yeah, Song of Achilles is very Marmitey, I think. I know a lot of people that really, really love it and a lot of people that really, really hated it. Can you not be destructive on sprints, Maggie Moo? Yeah, it just wasn't for me. I just found it kind of dry and a bit boring. I've sort of found recently that I don't really like, I don't know how to word it, but I don't really like adult retellings of ancient myths from what it seems, because they're often kind of literary and that's just not my vibe. But I have really enjoyed like young adult and middle grade myth retellings. So who knows? It just wasn't for me. But I think it is a very good book, just not for me. Definitely enjoying Cersei more than Song of Achilles. Feel like I've missed some part of the plot, so just in it for the vibes at this point. That is very fair. I feel like Cersei was more popular when that came out, but I could be talking nonsense. I don't really remember. Also liked Cersei better. I think the two books feel surprisingly different. Okay, that's given me hope that if it is still on the TBR, that I will give it a go. I didn't like it. I'm not sure if Madeline Miller is an author for me. Yes, I do think she's a very Marmite author. Not everyone's going to like it. I'm one of those people who love Song of Achilles. Yes. I do remember, Kate, how disappointed you were when I said I was DNFing Song of Achilles, but yeah, it wasn't for me, unfortunately. I didn't vibe with it as much as I thought I would. It sounded really cool, but the writing style was not it for me. And I was struggling to follow it. But I do think it's a very good book and I fully support it. And I have actually recommended it to people who I think would enjoy it a bit more. So in those sprints, how many words did I write? Should I have a little look, see if I can remember? I think I wrote about 400 words, so definitely not as much as last sprint, but I did stop and go and get some lunch for part of the sprint as well, which I didn't finish, but I had some lunch, so I did pretty good. I am getting to the point where we're about to start the adventure, so I am kind of writing a bit faster and enjoying it a bit more, but I was struggling because I was trying to figure out how to work in descriptions of things without feeling like it's kind of info dumpy and a bit like boring in a, you know how like Tolkien describes things a bit too much. I don't want to be like that, but I also don't want to describe nothing. So I have kind of started leaving notes to myself saying like, describe this character looking like one of my character looks like an old Bruce Willis. And so I've just left a note saying describe like old Bruce Willis. And I hadn't realized I hadn't named one of the places that my characters was going at, so I had to leave a note saying like fantasy name here. And I realized as well that I hadn't given any of my characters surnames, and I need that because the way this city works that they're living in is all about families and households, so you need to be able to refer to the X household and the Y household, so they do need like a family household name, and I hadn't done that yet. So that is also a blank spot in my drafting process. So hopefully I can come back to those when I come back to edit. My aunt gave me The Song of Achilles when I was like 15, and it was the first queer book I remember reading, so that has a special nostalgia for me. Nice. I fully support this. I think that's why I think I still have this book I'm about to talk about. Yes, I still have Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda on my shelves, even though I probably will never reread it, and I am not convinced it would hold up as well if I read it now, because I know a lot more about like kind of the problematic elements of it. But it was one of the first queer books that I read, and it is very much a nostalgia read for me at this point. So I keep it on the shelves on display because that's nostalgia for me. So I'm completely with you there. Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize I was doing it until I was trying to picture this character in my head, and I was like, wait, I'm literally picturing an actor. You knocked that by yourself. Don't act scared when you did it yourself. Yeah, I was picturing an actor. It took me a while to realize which actor it was, and eventually I figured out it was old Bruce Willis. So yeah, he's not a major character. He is the owner of the mercenary company that the male main character works for. So that's who old Bruce Willis is in my book. Yes, Maggie always wants the spotlight on sprints. I'm convinced it's because Leanne has appeared. Because whenever Leanne is in the chat or on the screen, Maggie comes running. She is thinking about going on top of the bookshelves, but is angry, swishing her tail at me. So let's hope we don't get a repeat of the sprints where she attacked me constantly on sprints when I was on sprints with Leanne once. So we'll see. Yeah, let me know how you got on in those sprints if you haven't already, what you got on with, and also if anyone wants to share how their November reading is going, I'd love to hear about that. Mine is going poorly. I'm struggling to get through all of my reads this month. I just haven't been in a reading mood, and I have been on I'm losing my words. I've been on a Sims kick once again. I go through these phases where like The Sims becomes a new hyper focus for me, and I am back on it. I've started a new legacy challenge, and I'm very into it. And I struggle when I'm playing The Sims to do anything else. A lot of games I can play and listen to audiobooks at the same time, but not The Sims. So yeah, not great for me. I read so many books in October, and November has just been like a nosedive. Yes, I think Maggie just likes Leanne and wants to see her. They've never met in person, but one day maybe. Ryan's going significantly better than October's. Very, very fair. I had a good reading month in October, and then November has been so busy, so I'm struggling. I don't have as much time for reading anymore, but reading Gwen and Art are not in love at the moment. Lovely. I have that on the TBR. I found a signed copy, I think, in foils. So we will hopefully pick that up eventually. But we all know how big my TBR is. We'll never know. I started on the struggle path and woke up a week later realizing I needed to DNF. It's been better ever since. That is very, very good. I am a big supporter of DNFing. I think especially since my TBR got so huge, I realized it was not sustainable for me to never DNF. And so I try to DNF within the first 100 pages if I'm going to DNF, but sometimes it's later, sometimes it's sooner. There was a book, I think it was The Hating Game. I DNF'd in the first couple of chapters because it was just so bad. It was so bad. So yeah. I am a full supporter of DNFing. Life is too short. Read the books you want to read. I'm playing The Sims 4. I don't really know anyone that plays any other Sims these days, actually, now that The Sims 4 has become free, but I've owned The Sims 4 for a really long time. I played The Sims 2 when I was a kid, and now I have The Sims 4 with many, many expansion packs. Whenever there's kind of a sale or they're giving any away for free, I get them. It's kind of like every couple of months I might treat myself to a new expansion, and they do bundle deals, which is always good fun. But it has got to the point now where I've had to buy a fan to go under my MacBook because it gets so hot that I'm worried about it. So I have a fan now when I play Sims, and I've kind of reached the maximum of how many expansions I can have before my laptop explodes. So my boyfriend is currently buying the different parts to build his own PC. And so once he's built his own PC, he said that I can put all of my Sims stuff onto his old gaming laptop, and I can use that to play Sims, and then I can get more expansion packs. So, you know, because I did buy the MacBook Pro with like pretty good operating systems, but still, Sims has defeated it. Oh no, so like all of October and read next to nothing. Yeah, that is such a fair excuse to not read much in October. In November, I've been reading all the things. I love that for you. I am incredibly jealous. I read 7 books in October, which is quite low for me, but I've read 6 this month so far. Kate, you are a machine. I am so impressed. Let me open up my reading tracker and see how many I read in the various months. Where is the tab? I'm not going to show you it, but I can tell you. In October, I read 10 books, which is like a good month for me. In November, I've only finished 2 so far. It's not going well, guys. My reading graph, though, goes very much like up and then down. So every month where I've read like 10 or more books, the following month I crash and read like 5 or 6. So yeah, I think it's following within the pattern of me reading a lot and then crashing. Ah, cool, nice. I never had Sims 3. It never appealed to me. It was too expensive for me as a teenager to buy. Fair enough. I know the different Sims games are for different people. Um, Open world makes for a better game. Oh, I am gonna hard disagree with you there. I don't like open world games, and I think Sims is better as a not open world game because you can have more going on. Because as soon as you have an open world game, it becomes so much more intensive to run, and you struggle with the graphics, you can struggle with animations and that kind of stuff. Like if you compare Pokemon Sword and Shield to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the graphics difference is horrendous, and like the stuff that you can do when it's not open world is so much better than the stuff you can do with it being open world. And I just think I much prefer Sims as a closed world game or not open world. So yeah, I disagree with everyone that's asking for Sims 5 to be open world. I do not want it to be open world, and I think Pokemon people were asking for that to be open world, and then we got an open world game, and everyone realized why it's not open world in other games. Um, my November reading has been pretty good so far. I read 10 books, my favourite being Mimosa, graphic novel by Archie Bongiovanni, and A Certain Hunger. Nice, nice. That is very good. And 10 books already in the 19th is pretty impressive, actually. I only just registered that. I literally had to open the Storygraph to find out how many I'd read last month. That is fair. I always go into my reading tracker because I have a chart that shows me month to month how many books I have read. Shall we see what our next sprint will be? Let's get the spinny wheel up. Will it just continue to pick the same time every time? We'll see. Is there any point having the spinny wheel at this point? Like, what? And just for clarity's sake, each of the times has the same number of things. Like there's the same number of each time on the wheel, so there's an equal chance to get the time. Spin it again to see if it's 40 again. Okay, well, I'll do it off camera because it's a faff. But yeah, if it keeps landing on 40, I will scream. No, it landed on 20 that time. So it just doesn't like me. um okay. Um let's see what I will be doing. Um I'm glad for another long one, but praying on your behalf that writing doesn't come up. I mean, at this point, I am kind of into the writing, so I won't be that mad, but I think it'll be annoying because the spinny wheel, the point of it was for me to try different things, but you know, it's Stan coming from Leanne's computer to yours. Yeah, we're all cursed by Leanne's spinny wheel, Stan. Okay, let's see what I get. Yes. I am very happy about this. Normally, I would not be happy about it landing on chores, but I am happy because today's chores are writing Christmas cards. So I will very much be doing that. And I guess at least if it's another 40-minute sprint, we don't need to change the timer again. So let's get ready with the timer. And I will see you all again in 40 minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to or from that sprint. How did you all get on? Yes, Leanne, you have brought the cursedness of Stan into the sprints. Oh, Maggie is back. She knows Leanne is here. She is coming. I don't know if she's coming up or if she's just going to sit on the floor and tap me. No, here she is. And hello, Samantha. Welcome in. It is nice to see you. Yeah, let me know how you got on in that sprint. So I was really excited for a chores sprint, only for my mum to then ask if I could walk the dogs with her. So I did actually spend half of those sprints out walking the dogs with my mum. And then I did write a few cards. Let me show you. I have a little stack of cards written for Christmas. And yeah, I was listening to Crying in HMart on that sprint while I was writing cards. I think if I find the player tab, I can tell you how much I listened to, like half a chapter. So that's pretty good going for Crying in HMart. It is quite slow going, the reading on that one, but it is very good if you're interested in non-fiction and memoirs. So yeah, that was pretty good. The cards I'm writing at the moment, I can actually show you them because they're not no one on these sprints will be getting these cards, but these are the cards I've been writing. They're very cute. I got them from TK Maxx from they are, what is the company called? Tash. They're like eco-friendly company, sustainably sourced Christmas cards, which is what we all love. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Got from page 165 to 219, very respectable. Let me know is it still as good as you were saying as earlier. Got ready to film, hoping to use the next long sprint to do so, but likely means we'll only get short ones now. Yep. Maggie, don't knock all the cards over. Right, I'm gonna move the cards away and hope they don't get all knocked over. My favorite cards I can't show you because people in the chat are receiving some of them. But yeah, we all know the spinny wheel hates us, and from now on it's going to be short sprints and we're all going to be mad at it. Thank you. Yes, I saw them in TK Maxx and I was like, oh, I don't technically need more cards because I had exactly the right number for the people I want to give cards to this year, but it doesn't hurt to have extras. So I've got those ones, and they're going to be mostly for family and friends who are IRL friends. Loved Crying in HMart, brought back so many memories of my college. My roommate was Korean and her mum cooked for us. Oh, I am very jealous. We have a Korean grocery in town now, which is very exciting. And my boyfriend and I have become somewhat regulars. We go there every few weeks to restock on our favorite things. But to be honest, I've mostly been buying Japanese food there, which is sad so far. I did buy some Korean hot pot meats, but in my ramen. But I've been buying like Kewpie mayo and Shin ramen and gyoza. But we have been getting bubble tea. They do like homemade bubble tea there, and it's all like mixed up by hand, and it is the best bubble tea ever. So not quite the same as having a Korean mother cooking for me, but a little bit of a taste, which is nice. So I'm currently buddy reading Crying in HMart with Kate. Kate, I'm only halfway through chapter 5. This is the first time I've listened to it today. I have been busy, but hopefully if we get another chore sprint, I will listen to some more. It is so good. They do just enough to give you something so you stay intrigued, but it's never what you expect. That is the best kind of thriller spooky book. I am very happy for you. I've been at my sister's all week because she was away with my brother-in-law and nephews, so I'm just home. That is very fair. Have you got any plans for the evening? I imagine you're probably just going to want to chill. I was working on a story for my friend's birthday and wrote 260 words. That is very, very good. Very good. I am impressed. You're doing well. I was writing on 2 sprints and it didn't go particularly well for me, but we got some writing done. Maggie's like, I know you're talking to friends, but notice me. Yes. Yes, she is. To be fair, this happens whenever I talk. She thinks that I'm talking to her if I start talking. It does happen as well. Like if we're in bed and we're like watching a movie and I make some kind of comment about the movie, she'll come running over because she thinks I'm talking to her. And when I'm at work, because I am a software engineer, I spend a lot of time on my own, not talking, focusing in on whatever it is I'm doing. So then when I do have meetings and I talk, she's like, oh, mother, you must be talking to me, and comes running. My manager has a running joke where he tries to predict how long it will take for her to appear, and he's usually pretty accurate. So that's how bad she is for this. But yeah, let me know what you got up to in that sprint, how it is going. I really want to get to Iron Flame at some point today, but if I don't get to it on sprints, I'm going to have a quiet evening and read some more. I really wish it was the same night as Fourth Wing, because then I could probably say to myself, I'll sit down tonight and read it cover to cover, but it's like 600 pages and I'm about 50 pages in. So there's no way I'm going to read that in one evening, which is sad. But I am enjoying it so far with Iron Flame. I will say there's some memes going around. You know the meme on like Instagram Reels with the Cocker Spaniel, the brown Cocker Spaniel dog that's like going like, looking very confused. And people have been saying that the first couple of chapters of Fourth Wing, or not Fourth Wing, of Iron Flame, is that. I could not agree more. I had to start reading from the beginning again, because I started reading it and I just wasn't taking anything in. It was so like Fourth Wing ends and Iron Flame begins like immediately afterwards, and it just kind of throws you in. And I was not vibing with that. And there's a lot of information at the beginning of Iron Flame. So I've started again, and I think I'm like 3 or 4 chapters in now, and it's starting to stick a bit more. So hopefully it picks up a bit. But I was finding this morning, I was reading in bed this morning while Tom was still asleep, and I was into it and I did want to keep reading. So that's always a good sign. I think a very chill evening ahead. Very, very fair. Send me your thoughts about Iron Flame. I don't plan to read the series. I want all the tea. I will spill the tea. I am planning on doing a vlog. I've filmed the intro, and then I'm going to try and remember to film an update at 100 pages or every 100 pages. So I think that's going to be a spoilery vlog as well. So everyone should hopefully get to see my spoilery thoughts. I returned my copy of Iron Flame because I realised I have no desire to read it. Very fair. I have done that before where I have had pre-orders arrive and I was like, why did I pre-order this book? I don't know why I pre-ordered that. I'm not interested. And then I've returned it and I feel bad because then I'll be like, oh, I pre-ordered multiples back, so haha. No, it's just that I wasn't interested in the book anymore. But I have done that on several occasions, so you're not alone. I think if you didn't like Fourth Wing, there's no point giving Iron Flame a go. So very fair. I'm supposed to read Fourth Wing this month, but I only have access to the audiobook and it's like 20 hours. Could you listen to it on like a higher speed? Not just one-time speed? I don't know, not everyone can. If you're able to, possibly. But I've heard the audiobook is very, very good. I have a friend who almost exclusively reads via audiobook, and she listened to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame on audiobook and said it is a great experience. So there you go. I do just want to have a quick check actually, because I know in America people were saying that there was like loads of issues with their books. I don't know if that's a thing in the UK, but there was apparently loads of issues with the books in America and people had to return them and there was so many misprints, but I think mine's fine. I haven't seen any issues in it, so if anyone knows if there are issues in the UK copies, let me know. But yeah, my copy of Iron Flame seems to be okay. Yeah, I think I haven't listened to many audiobooks this month. I have been on a bit of a podcast kick lately. I've been listening to The Judges. If people have seen them come up on Instagram and TikTok, they're very funny. I love me a Reddit reaction podcast, which is basically what theirs is. They're great, and I'm a patron of them now, so I get their exclusive like extra weekly stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to lately instead of audiobooks. But I need to get into audiobooks more again because I am trying to reread all of Throne of Glass so that I can finally read Kingdom of Ash, because I still haven't read that. Even though I was so excited for it, I'd pre-ordered it, I was like ready and waiting, but I hated Tower of Dawn so much that I put off reading Kingdom of Ash for so long that I need to listen to them all again. So I'm listening to them all on audio because I don't want to sit down and read them physically again. But yeah, I really need to get in gear and listen to audiobooks. But at the moment I'm listening to Crying in H Mart, which is a really good audiobook if you are an audiobook fan. usually listen at 1.6 speed. Sometimes with audiobooks, I kind of zone out and I'm worried about how dense it will be. I would say it's not dense. I think it is a good balance between a fantasy and a romance. I still maintain it is not a fantasy romance and it is a romance with a strong fantasy plot, but it is very readable and I don't think you would have any issues listening to the audiobook. But I will say I tend to do audiobooks when I'm doing something that helps me to focus. So I will listen to audiobooks while I'm cooking or knitting or driving, because that means that there's like parts of my brain are occupied so I can focus on audiobook. So yeah, and Ocean's backing me up here. Fourth Wing isn't dense, coming from a dense fantasy lover. Yes, I am a dense fantasy hater. And I really enjoyed Fourth Wing. So yeah, it's definitely not dense. I would say it reads in a very similar vein to A Court of Thorns and Roses kind of density. So like, yes, there's some fantasy and there's some world building, but it's not an intense, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an intense, really dense fantasy, but because I don't like them, I don't really have a good example. But yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's not bad. You'll be okay. Was there anything else that I had to update you from that sprint? I don't think so. It was not a particularly productive sprint for me. I'm just really hoping I get another chore sprint because I want to carry on writing Christmas cards and listening to my audiobook, because I love writing Christmas cards and I'm feeling very festive. I'm thinking about trying to find a Christmassy book to listen to in December as well, but that requires me to finish my Throne of Glass reread, which, I did a video earlier this year of all of the books I want to read in 2023, and Kingdom of Ash was one of those books because I need to finish that series, and I don't think I read more than like one or two of my 23 for 2023. So, we'll see. Fourth Wing is a good book for people who are trying to get into fantasy. I agree. I do think that is a good pitch. I think it's one of those, and it's a good bridging book as well. I feel like it's a good book for people who have been reading a lot of young adult fantasy and want to get into something a bit more adult, where it's not as like dense as some adult books, but it is like a step up from YA. It's a good bridging book, basically. So if you're someone who perhaps reads more contemporary and romance, but you want to get into fantasy, it's good. And if you're someone who tends to read more YA fantasy and you want to get into adult fantasy, it is a good kind of bridging thing. I think some people class it as new adult. I've just started into Bookshops with Moondorse. How I finished it yet? What did I think? No. Short answer, no. I don't think I've read any more of it since the last time I was reading it on sprints. I think I'm probably going to start it from the beginning again. I was trying to read it before Iron Flame came out and failed miserably at that goal. So I think I'm going to leave it until after Iron Flame. I want to finish Iron Flame. If you missed this earlier, I'm trying to finish Iron Flame as quickly as I can because I don't want to see spoilers, and the internet is full of spoilers for it right now. And as soon as I finish that, I will then read Bookshops and Bone Dust. So I was really liking it when I started it. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. I'm realizing that I didn't like it, but others do and might. Yeah, I think that's very fair. I don't think any book is truly universal, and so it is very fair that some people like it, some people don't. And Iron Flame and Fourth Wing are not for everybody. I think, especially if you're a bit of a fantasy purist and you really want a lot of fantasy and high fantasy, it's not really a book for you. It's much more of a relaxed, laid back fantasy with a lot of romance and interpersonal relationships going on. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for people who are like really intense fantasy readers. Got my copy of Bookshops and Bone Dust as well. Yes, how exciting. I was really sad when I found out that there was actually like an exclusive edition in the UK that I didn't know about until people started getting it, and obviously it sold out. But yeah, it was good, the few chapters I'd read of it, so I really hope that you like it. Shall we do another spin of the wheel to see what our next sprint will be? Let's have a look. Sprint length. Who's betting it's going to be another long sprint? I apologize to the people who wanted another long sprint, but we are going to be doing a short sprint next time. I got the Indigo exclusive edition and I plan on trying to make it fit for a proper mixtape. Very, very fair. I think if I could get my books to fit better, I would do mixtape, but I don't think my current reads are going to fit very well. So sadly, not for me. But I am very jealous that you've got an exclusive edition. I really wanted to get that. There was like a Kickstarter edition for Legends and Lattes that was going around that was like £75. And I just couldn't justify it, but it was very beautiful and I was very jealous of everybody that got that. So let's see what I will be doing in the next sprint. This may be my last sprint before my dinner time. So let's hope maybe I will get to do something like, I don't know, not writing, but we will see. I've cursed it now, haven't I? It's going to be writing. Yes. Oh, will I be the only person that gets excited when chores come up? But because my chores are fun chores today, maybe. Okay, so um, I didn't initially buy the exclusive because I had no idea, so I exchanged it when I got it in the mail. Nice. I am still very jealous. That is very, very good. Okay, let's add in my note that I'm going to be doing chores, and this means I get to listen to more of Crying in the H-Bot, which is very exciting. So let's get the timer up on the screen, and I will see you all back here in 20 minutes. Welcome back from that sprint. I hope you all had a good short sprint there. Let me know how you got on and what you got up to in that sprint. I have significantly increased my card stack in that sprint, although I did realise that one of the cards I bought yesterday for my parents didn't have an envelope. But well, actually technically the one I bought for my sister and her husband didn't have an envelope, so I stole the one from my parents' card to put an envelope in that one. And because I live with my parents, my plan is when I give out cards, just produce it from behind my back and hand it to them, because whoops. But yeah, I got quite a lot of my cards written. I only got the friends ones left that I need to write in a bit more than just Merry Christmas. And that's very good. I listened to most of chapter 5 for Crying in H Mart. I haven't quite finished chapter 5 yet. It was a sad chapter, I'm not going to lie to you. This is kind of the chapter where she talks about how much of an awful teenager she was, which is a little bit too relatable at times. But it is a very, very good audiobook. And if you like memoirs read by the author themselves, I highly, highly recommend it. It is a very, very good audiobook. So yeah, let me know how you got on in that sprint and what you were up to. I'm besties with the staff at my bookstore, so they let me. Very, very good life hack. I have been going to the book club for my local Waterstones, and it means that I have become friendly with the booksellers there, and it has very much helped because occasionally they have let me know that like something is selling out soon, and if I want it, they can reserve it for me and stuff like that. But I don't go in super often that I can get too many benefits out of it, but it always helps to be friends with your local booksellers because they will do things for you to help you out, which is very kind. It's so satisfying to get chores finished though, and those are the good kind. Yes, I really like writing Christmas cards. It makes me feel very festive, and I like looking back at all the people that mean a lot to me in my life, and yeah, I really enjoy it. Not enjoying looking at the price of stamps though. Stamps have got so expensive, and I'm not looking forward to having to get some, but luckily a lot of my cards are for family, so we tend to do in our family like leaving your cards for aunts and uncles at grandparents' house, because everyone will go to visit the grandparents at some point, and we tend to get like together for family meals, and you hand out your Christmas cards then. So hopefully I won't need to do too many stamps, but we will see. Got from page 219 to 240. That is very good for a 20-minute sprint. Well done. I made tea and continued cross-stitching a bookmark I started the other day. It's 3 kitties stacked on top of each other and it's very cute. Oh, that sounds lovely. I was saying earlier that I really wish I could cross-stitch. I just don't have the patience for it right now. So I'm very jealous of these kind of things. I love how cool the designs are for a lot of the stuff. And 3 kitties stacked on top of each other sounds really adorable. Someone once cross-stitched me a bookmark. Let me see if I can get it from my book pot and show you. It was a Secret Santa gift from work, and I thought it was very cute. I think it's meant to be like a peacock feather. But yeah, it's a cross stitch bookmark, and it was very, very sweet. I was very appreciative. So whether that's for yourself or someone else, I hope it is like appreciated how much work goes into that. Try not to drop that pot because we all know the Illumicrate book pots are very much highly sought after. I was very proud of my acquiring of that at Yalk. I left my boyfriend in the queue for my goodie bag so that I could go and get the book pot. So I'm very happy I got that. A good 7 pages, lots read this morning. Well done. I'm very happy for you. I'm sorry we didn't get a long sprint so you could film, but hopefully now after this you'll be able to. But 7 pages is very good. And I hope it is as dramatic as you were hoping for. So I think I might wrap things up here now. I know dinner is ready soon. It might seem a bit early, but Sunday roasts are always at random times. But yeah, I think I will end things here. So thank you very much to everybody that has joined me. I really appreciate all of you coming and hanging out, and I hope you got lots of stuff done that you needed doing, or just had a nice relaxing morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you soon.